Well, we have discussed in the previous slides, or rather in the previous video, about instantaneous velocity, average velocity, and also instantaneous speed and average speed. Now, in this one, we are particularly going to discuss about acceleration and its aspects. So, we will start with acceleration. Now, what do we actually mean by acceleration? So what we mean by acceleration here is that when velocity changes with time, okay, acceleration will only happen when velocity of a body, when velocity of a body changes with time. So there will be a change in the velocity of the body along with time. That will only happen. Alright. So acceleration is produced. So let's say we have a body which has been traveling with a velocity v1, and after a certain interval of time the velocity becomes v2. Sorry. So let's say the velocity was v1 at an instant of time t1, and the velocity becomes v2 at an instant of time t2. So in this case, what will be the average acceleration we are talking here? So see, there are different aspects to it. Okay, average acceleration is different from instantaneous acceleration, just as average velocity is different from instantaneous velocity. Okay, so here we have average acceleration. That will be how much? Average acceleration will be equal to change in velocity, change in velocity upon change in time. Alright, so that is how we will calculate the average velocity. Now if we were to calculate the instantaneous velocity is concerned with a small amount of time, or rather a velocity at a particular instant. Okay, so how will we calculate the instantaneous velocity? This will be instantaneous velocity will be equal to limit delta t, a very small instant of time. That's the reason delta t is approaching as 0, delta v by delta t. V is a vector, time is a scalar. So this is basically written as dv by dt. That's called instantaneous velocity, right? So if you are talking about delta v, what this delta v means here is that it is the change in velocity. So let's say here at the start we had a time, and at the start it had a time t, and this went on for t plus delta t. Alright. So delta v is basically the change in velocity. Delta v is change in velocity, change in velocity between time t, between time t, between time t and t plus delta t. So this will be change in velocity between time t and t plus delta t. Okay. So at time t the velocity is, so if you look into it, at time t, at time t the velocity is v, and at time t and at time t plus delta t the velocity is v plus delta v, right? So delta v by delta t, delta v by delta t will be the average acceleration of the particle. Alright, average acceleration of the particle, average acceleration of the particle in the time interval delta t, in the time interval delta t. So that will be the average acceleration of the particle in the time interval delta t. We have a question, upcoming question, which we will deal with. Alright, in the meantime we will continue with this. Alright, so average acceleration of the particle in time delta t. Okay, so if I were to take this a little, okay, so v will be equal to velocity is equal to dx by dt, velocity is equal to dx by dt, and acceleration, is equal to dv by dt, right? So what we have here is acceleration is equal to dv by dt, and that should be equal to d by dx of dx by dt. So that should be equal to d square x by dt square, right? So if dx by dt, is positive, if dx by dt is in the positive direction, if dx by dt is in the positive direction of velocity, so this is basically rate of change of displacement, okay, then velocity is along the positive direction. So velocity is in positive x direction, in positive x direction. In positive direction means x direction. In positive x direction, then velocity is in the positive x direction. Okay. In the same way, if dx by dt is in the negative x direction, then velocity is in negative x direction. Then velocity is in negative x direction. Okay. So this is how we will compensate with velocity. Okay. All right. Now in the same way, if dv by dt, if dv by dt is positive, if dv by dt is positive along the positive x-axis, along positive x-axis, then acceleration is along the positive x-axis. Acceleration is along the positive x-axis. Right? In the same way, if dv by dt, which is acceleration, is along the negative x-axis, along the negative x-axis, so acceleration is along the negative x-axis. Alright, so we will have the acceleration along the negative x-axis. So if you check this out, then the direction of A is dependent on direction of V. The direction of V is dependent on the direction of X. So obviously the direction of A is dependent on the direction of X, which is basically the displacement. Okay. Now we'll quickly come to the concept of the equations of motion that we have studied in earlier classes. Alright, so we will just quickly check that out. Now let's see motion with constant acceleration. So if there is a motion with constant acceleration, if there is a motion happening with constant acceleration, alright, so we will have dv by dt is equal to a, which is acceleration, or we can say dv is equal to a dt, or we can say dv is equal to a dt. Now how can we define this in terms of integration? So here dv, which means is equal to integrating both sides. Basically we are integrating both sides. Alright, so here we are basically doing what? We are integrating both sides. So here we have dv is equal to a dt, which means between the limits of u and v, this will be initial velocity, this will be final velocity, right? We are aware of these terms. We have studied these terms in the lower classes. Initial velocity, and this is basically the final velocity. This is the final velocity. Similarly, in acceleration we have 0, and let's say with time we have t. So this is basically we are starting from time t is equal to 0 to time t is equal to t. Alright, so how will we do this? So what we have here is between the limits of u and v. Alright, so let me just check here. So here we have v, which is between the limits of v and u, should be equal to a, and this will be t, right? If we integrate dt, it's going to give us what? T, right? So this will be between the limits of t and 0. So very quickly, this will be what? V minus u is equal to a t minus 0. So that will be a t, v minus u is equal to a t. This is how we get our first equation of motion, which we have studied in the earlier classes. Right? V is equal to at, u plus at. Okay, so now let's derive the other equations from here. So v means what? Dx by dt. V means dx by dt. That should be equal to u plus at. Alright. So where we have dx is equal to u plus at dt. Right? U plus at dt. So now we will do what? So here we have between, so integrating both sides again, integrating both sides, integrating both sides, we will have dx, that is between the limits of 0 and x, is equal to between the limits of u and at, this will be dt, right? So here we have between the limits of 0 and t, dt. Okay, so if we were to calculate this value between the limits of 0 and x, that should be equal to u dt between the limits of 0 and t plus at dt between the limits of 0 and t. So x here is between 0 and x, that should be equal to u dt between limits of 0 and t minus, or rather plus, a t dt between the limits of 0 and t. So here it will be x minus 0 should be equal to u between the limits of t and 0. So here it will be t between the limits of t and 0 plus a. Alright. So this will be how much? T, that will be t square by 2 between the limits of t and 0. Okay. So here we will have x is equal to u t minus 0, right? So this will be t minus 0 plus a t square by 2 minus 0 square by 2. Okay. So this should be x is equal to ut plus a t square by 2. So this is therefore the second equation of motion that we are getting, ut plus half a t square. That's how by integration we get the second equation of motion. Okay. Now we have already proved in the first equation of motion that v is equal to u plus at. Right. If we happen to square both sides, so squaring both sides, we will have v square is equal to u plus at square. That's how much? U square plus a square t square plus 2u at, a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2at. That's going to be u square plus 2at. So this means what? If I were to take at as common, or rather a as common, okay, so we will have here what? I'm taking here a as common, 2a basically as common. So I will be left with what? If I take a out here, one a is gone, and I will be left with t square. So obviously there has to be a 2 out here so that it balances this one, plus this will be u and t. So which means what? U square plus 2a, ut plus half at square. If we refer to this equation, ut plus half at square, this will be x. So hence we have the third equation of motion, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2ax. So this is how by integration you can derive all these three equations of motion which we have obviously studied in earlier classes. Alright. So that was about the derivation of the equations of motion. Now it's not only the equations of motions that we are
Right, so
talking
we are
about
going
here.
to start with a problem, and this problem is basically from H.C. Verma. Okay, it is covered in one of the examples. It's a very simple problem. Uh, it's all on basis of what we have covered till now. Okay, this problem is also from H.C. Verma. So till now we covered what was the instantaneous velocity and average velocity and acceleration as well. So a particle starts with a initial velocity of 2.5 meters per second along the positive x direction, all right, and accelerates uniformly at the rate of 0.5 meter per second square. So find the distance traveled by it in the first 2 seconds. So what do we have here? S, or rather x is equal to ut plus half a t square. Clear? So if it is traveling in the positive x direction, okay, now we have t here as, we have a here as 5 meter per second square, we have a here as 0.50 meter per second square, we have initial velocity as 2.5 meter per second, and the time here is, just check this out here. So u here is 2.5 meter per second, accelerates at the rate of 5 meter per second square. So here you have to find out 2 seconds. Okay, find the distance traveled by the, so this will be x is equal to ut, that's basically 2.5 meter per second into the time t, that is 2 seconds, plus half of a, that is 0.5 meter per second square into t square, that's basically 2 seconds square of it. All right, so here we have 2.5 meter per second, and that gets multiplied by 2 seconds plus half into 0.5 meter per second square into 4 seconds square. So this gets multiplied here. We have here 2.5 into 2, that's going to be 5. This gets cancelled here. So this will be 5 meter plus, this will be 0.5 meter into 4. So 4 means this gets cancelled. So here we have 5 meter plus 1 meter, that's basically 6 meters. Okay, so that's how we will get it. So now the particle is not returning back, right? So since, so we can say that since the particle, since the particle is not returning back, since the particle is not returning back, since the particle is not returning back, this will be the distance traveled as well. So this will be the distance traveled as well. Okay, so this is going to be the distance traveled. Clear? Are we clear on this one, people? All right. So this was the distance traveled. All right, we have the distance traveled. Now how much time does it take to reach the velocity 7.5 meter per second? So here it's the final velocity, right? Final velocity v is equal to u plus at. So we can write here 7.5 meter per second is equal to u. What was the initial velocity? 2.5 meter per second. 2.5 meter per second. Acceleration is 0.5 meter per second square into the time t. This is something that we are still not aware of. Okay, so 7.5 minus 2.5, that's going to be 5.0 meter per second. Here we have 0.50 meter per second square into t. So therefore t will be equal to 5.0 meter per second upon 0.50 meter per second square. So that's going to be, this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled, the s goes above. All right, so we have here, this will be the time is going to be 10 seconds. This time is going to be 10 seconds. What else do we have to calculate here? How much distance will it cover in reaching the velocity of 7.5 meter per second? Okay, so how much velocity is it going to cover? How much distance will it cover in reaching the velocity of 7.5 meter per second? So here we are going to apply v square. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. So we have here as 7.5 meter per second square, and u square will be 2.5, which is given as 2.5 meter per second square, plus 2, acceleration is 0.50 meter per second square, into s, which is not known to us. We have calculated it as x, so let this be x here. So what we have here is 2 into 0.50 meter per second square into x should be equal to 7.5 meter per second square, meter per second square, minus 2.5 meter per second square. Right, let me rub this a little. So this will be 2.5 meter per second square. So therefore x will be equal to, here we can do a square minus b square, so that will be 7.5 minus 2.5 into 7.5 plus 2.5, this will be meter square per second square, upon 2 into 0.5 meter per second square. Okay, second square and second square gets cancelled, meter square and meter square get cancelled. So 7.5 minus 2.5, that will be 5, and this will be 10. We have here 2 into 0.5. 2 into 0.5 will be obviously 1. So this will be giving you 50 meters. So the distance traveled will be 50 meters. Right? Okay. So let's have this here now. We have here a particle which is having initial velocity u. Okay, a particle having initial velocity u moves with a constant acceleration a for the time t. Okay, so find the displacement of the particle in the last 1 second. So you have to find out the displacement of the particle in the last 1 second. Now we know that s is equal to ut plus half at square. All right, so the position of the particle after time t, this will be the distance traveled, this will be the distance that is traveled by the particle, that is s is equal to ut plus half at square. The position of the particle at time t minus 1 seconds is, how much will this be? Obviously su, in place of t we will put t minus 1 plus half a t minus 1 square. Okay, so that's going to be s dash is equal to u, this will be ut minus u plus half, this is going to be 2 square minus 2t plus 1. So this will be ut minus u plus half a t square minus, ये cancel हो जाएगा, this will be a t. Okay, this will be a t plus half a t square. Okay, sorry, half a, this will be half a, I am so sorry here. So we have here, we will have here half a t square minus a t, plus half a. This will be s dash. Okay, so the distance, or rather the displacement, the displacement the displacement in the last in the last 1 second will be equal to let's say this s minus s dash. Okay, which means this s minus this s dash. Okay, this s minus s dash. So if we look into this ut will obviously cancel this one. All right, there's a minus sign, so minus minus will make this as plus, that is u. Okay, then we have here half at square. Half at square minus half at square, this gets cancelled. This minus minus again will make it a plus, that will be at. All right, again we have here half a. Okay, so this will be minus half a. Okay, so we can say that this would be the distance covered by the particle in the last 1 second. Okay, so last 1 second, the distance covered by the particle will be u plus at minus half a. Okay, so this is going to be the answer, u plus at. Okay, now if we were to evaluate, if you have been given the values u is equal to 5 meter per second, a is 2 meter per second and 10, so what will this value be? So if we just put the values here, then this will be 5 meter per second. So this one will be obviously in 1 second, right? Displacement in the last 1 second. So this will be 5 plus half, 5 plus a, that is 2 into 10, 2 into 10 minus half into a, that is 2. So that's going to be how much? 5 plus 20 plus 1. Or rather minus 1, I am so sorry, this will be minus 1, this will be minus 1. So this is going to be minus 1. So 19 plus 5, that is going to be 24 meters. So that will be the displacement in the last 1 second, once all these things have been given. All right, so that was a all right, so we will now discuss about the velocity while going upwards. So when a body is thrown vertically upwards, a body which is thrown vertically upwards. Okay, so just understand here what will happen is the acceleration will become as minus g, because you are throwing a body with, let's say, an initial velocity u upwards. Okay, what it will do is its velocity will keep on decreasing. Why? Because its acceleration g is directed downwards. At the final position, what will happen is the body will have a velocity, final velocity, as 0. Okay, so after which the body is coming down. Okay, so while going up, what will be the equations of motion? While going up, the equations of motion will be v is equal to u minus gt, s is equal to ut minus half gt square, and v square is equal to u square minus 2gs. Okay, gs. Now let's say if the body is thrown vertically upwards and it is traveling along the y-axis, what we will have here is v is equal to u minus gt, s is equal to ut minus half gt square, and v square is equal to u square minus 2gy, as it is thrown vertically upwards. Now when the body is coming, when the body has a free fall, So basically it is falling freely. So when the body has a free fall, what will happen? Okay, what will happen is the acceleration will get converted into g. Okay, so we will have the equations as v is equal to u plus gt, s is equal to ut plus half g t square, v square is equal to u square plus 2 gs. Or we can also say this one as, we can also write this one as v square is equal to u square plus 2gy. Okay, so these are the things that we have here. Now let's say a ball is thrown up at a speed of 4 meter per second. So a ball is thrown up and this has got a speed of 4 meter per second. At the maximum, find the maximum height reached by the ball. So what will be the maximum height reached by the ball? Now you have been allowed to take g as 10 meter per second square. In most of the cases you will be given g as 10 meter per second square. This again is an example in the book of Sri S.C. Verma. Now g is equal to 10 meter per second square. What is the maximum height? So what will happen at the maximum height? At the maximum height, the velocity of the particle, will become as 0. The velocity of the particle obviously will become 0 at the maximum height. So what's going to happen is, so we can use this equation v square. So let the maximum height attained, be y. So we have here v square is equal to u square minus 2gy. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. Now v square is basically 0 because final velocity is 0. U square will be 4 meter per second square minus 2g, that is 10 into y. Okay, so this is going to be how much? This is going to be 16 meter square per second square minus 20y. So this will be y is equal to 16 meter square per second square by 20. Okay, and again this is meter per second, right? Meter per second square. G has got meter per second square. Second square gets cancelled here. So you will have here 0.8 meters. So y is equal to 0.8 meters. That will be the maximum height that will be attained by the ball. Okay. Now we have certain things out here. Let's say for example we will have, here if we are taking motion of a body in xy plane. So motion of a body in xy plane is what we are taking here and what we are considering here. Okay, so let's say we have an xy plane here as, so this will be motion of a body in xy plane. So let's say this is the y plane, this is the x plane, and this is a body as it is moving. Okay, so this is a body as it is moving. So let's say if I were to take a small instance, let's say x, and this is y, let's say it moves to delta x. So this will become x plus delta x. This will become y plus delta y. Okay, this will become x plus delta x and this will become y plus delta y. Okay, so if I were to calculate what is the displacement here, displacement r will be equal to, let's say this point is from A to B. So displacement r will be equal to AB, vector AB. That will be what? AC. Let's say if I draw AC, let's say this is the point C. AC vector plus BC vector. Okay, AC vector plus BC vector. Okay, now let's say this has moved from x to x plus delta x. So what is the movement here? Delta x. What is the movement here? Y plus delta y. So what is the movement here? This will be delta y. So this will be delta y. This is, now we know that unit vector in x direction, is written as I cap. So this will be I cap. Unit vector in y direction is written as j cap, so this will be j cap. Okay, so x I cap and y j cap, this will be. Now if we were to calculate the velocity here, so obviously we will divide by the amount of time it has taken. Let's say this entire movement from here to here, from here to here, the movement has taken a time of delta t. So what we do is divide by delta t. So what we get is delta r vector by delta t will be delta x I cap by delta t plus delta y j cap by delta t. So that's going to be how much? V is equal to now if delta t happens to be extremely small, so let's say if I taking limits as delta t to be extremely small. See, we know that V is equal to limit delta t extremely small delta x by delta t. So that's going to be V, that's going to be dx, and this is itself written as dx by dt, right? Dx by dt. So this will be dx by dt, okay, dx by dt plus dy by dt. Again we will have their unit vectors, that is I and j. Okay, that is I and j. Now this dx by dt represents what? This represents dx by dt. I cap will represent velocity along x axis, so this will be velocity along x axis. So we can say that this is we can write this as Vx as dx by dt I cap. In the same way, this represents velocity along the y-axis, so Vy is equal to dy by dt j cap. Okay, so what we have here is V will be equal to Vx plus Vy. This is going to be a vector sum. Be very careful about this. Okay, so if we were to calculate the magnitude, then this will be what? V will be equal to Vx square plus Vy square. That will be the velocity. Okay, now let's say we are talking about acceleration. When we are talking about acceleration is equal to dv by dt. Okay, dv by dt. So acceleration is dv by dt, which means that it will be equal to dvx I cap by dt plus dvy dt j cap. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. So ax will be equal to dvx by dt and ay is equal to dvy by dt. Okay, so what we have here is this is acceleration, right? Acceleration is dvx by dt. So just as in the same way we had said velocity is the vector sum of vx and vy components, in the same way acceleration is the vector sum of ax and ay components. So acceleration will also have two components out here. Okay, so the equations of motion here we can be segregated into x and y components. So vx can be written as ux plus axt, and in the similar way vy can be written as uy plus ayt, where acceleration ay represents the acceleration in the y direction and uy represents the initial velocity in the y direction. Here it represents the initial velocity in the x direction and ax represents the initial acceleration in the x direction. Similarly, s can be written as, or rather x, here we will take x because we are representing the here the displacement is along the x direction. So this will be equal to uxt plus half axt square. Here y will be uyt plus half ayt square. Okay, and in a similar way vx square is equal to ux square plus 2axx. Uy square plus 2 AY y. Okay, that's how things are going to be. Okay, so this was explanation about how we can resolve it into components. In the same way, if you were to find out the actual acceleration, so actual acceleration will be what? Acceleration of the particle will be equal to its ax component square and its ay component square. Why are we having this way? Because we know that the vector sum of two vectors, okay, let's say v1 and v2, okay, v1 and v2 vector sum, this vector can be, if we were to just represent its magnitude, if we were to represent its magnitude, then it will be v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 cos phi, where phi is the angle between them. Now obviously between x and y axis the angle is 90 degree and cos 90 is equal to 0. So hence for v we have we have, if we were to have its resultant magnitude of the velocity, v1 square plus v2 square. Okay, in the same way for acceleration, if we were to calculate the magnitude of it, this will be ax square plus ay square. Right, so we are going to cover up a sum on this one as well. Alright, so we will try and do this sum, which is pretty much based on what we have studied till now. And this is again a sum from H.C. Verma's book. And this states that a particle moves in the xy plane with a constant acceleration of, this will be 1.5 meter per second square. Okay, let me just make the corrections here. So this will be 1.5 meter per second square. Okay, in the direction making an angle of 37 degree, this will be making an angle of 37 degree meter per second square. Okay, with the x-axis at t is equal to 0, the particle is at the origin and its velocity is 8 meter per second along the x-axis. So it looks something like this. Okay, let's say we have the xy plane here. So we have the x plane here and the y axis here. The particle is moving with an acceleration of 1.5 meter per second square. So that's going to be something like this. The particle is moving with an acceleration of 1 meter per second square, and along the x-axis it is moving with a velocity of 8 meter per second. 8 meter per second. So this is an angle of 37 degree that the particle is making. Okay, now about this 37 degree or 53 degree angles, okay, let's have a very clear conception about them. So what happens is, when we take a right angle triangle, and let's say this is 37, so obviously this has to be 53. Now what happens is, we will always have the hypotenuse, this is the ratio, right? This is the ratio in which the hypotenuse will be around 5, okay, and smaller angle opposite will be smaller side, so this will be 3 and this will be 4. Okay, larger angle opposite larger side, smaller angle has the side which is smaller to it. Okay, so in this case, if you were to calculate, let's say if you were to calculate sine 37 degree, this is a very common thing or a common angle that is used. So sine 37 will be 3 by 5. Similarly, if we have to calculate cos 37, this will be 3 by 4, sorry, 4 by 5. This will be 4 by 5, and so on and so forth. Okay, we can take 53 degree angles as well. So in this case, it has been, find the velocity and position of the particle at t is equal to 4 seconds. So we have to find out the velocity and position of the particle at t is equal to 4 seconds. So let's say if we were to calculate here, the acceleration along the x component is 1.5 meter per second square cos 37 degree. Okay, see, this acceleration is happening here and its component will be ax will be a cos 37. All right, so this will be how much? 1.5 meter per second square cos 37 will be 4 by 5. That's going to be 5 3s are 15, so that's going to be 1.2 meter per second square along this axis. Okay, So AX basically will be equal to 1.2 meter per second square. In the same way, we can have AY. What will be AY here? So AY will be what? If we were to calculate AY, this will be A sine 37, and that's how much? A sine 37 degree. So this will be 1.5 meter per second square sine 37, that will be 3 by 5. So this cancels out this will be 0.90 meter per second square, sorry, meter per second square. Yes, that will be AY. So here we have AY is equal to 0.90 meter per second square. Okay, all right. So now the initial velocity, what will be the initial velocity? If you look into it, see ux, the particle is traveling along ux. All right, so ux will be u, that is 8 meter per second. If we were to calculate uy, that is along the y-axis, what will be its velocity? It will be obviously 0. Uy will be obviously 0, that is uy. Okay, so in that case, if we were to calculate at t is equal to 0, okay, at t is equal to 0, the particle is at the origin, the velocity is 8 meter per second along the x-axis. Okay, at t is equal to 0, x will be equal to 0, that is the displacement of the particle, and y is equal to 0. Why? Because see, it is written at t is equal to 0, the particle is at the origin, which means x and y both will be 0. Okay, and velocity at time t is equal to 4 seconds. So when t is equal to 4 seconds, what will be the velocity? What will be the velocity? See, we can use the formula v is equal to u plus at. So along the x-axis it will be ux plus axt. So that will be ux, that is 8 meter per second, plus ax, that is 1.2 meter per second square, into t, that is 4 seconds. 4 seconds. 8 meter per second plus 12 4s are 4.8 meter per second. So that's going to be how much? 12.8 meter per second. So that will be Vx. Vx 12.8 meter per second. And similarly, if you were to calculate the y component of velocity, okay, y component of velocity will be uy plus ayt. Okay, now uy obviously is 0, because uy, why will uy be 0? Because it will be u cos 90, and cos 90 has a value 0, so this will obviously be 0. So vy will be equal to uy plus ay. Now we have calculated the value of ay as 0.9 meter per second square. So 0.9 into 0.9 meter per second square will be meter per second square into the time, that is 4, that is 4 second square. So that's going to be 0.9 into 16 meter per second. Oh, I am so sorry, this will be, I am so sorry, I take it as square. So this will be v is equal to u plus at, so that will remain as, that will remain as 4. So this is going to remain as 4. So this is meter per second, so this will be 3.6 meter per second. So your Vy is equal to 3.6 meter per second. Okay, now these are two perpendicular components of velocity. These are two perpendicular components of velocity. So we will have Vy, which is equal to 3.6 meter per second, and Vx, which is equal to 12.8 meter per second. So V will be equal to under root of Vx square plus Vy square. Okay, that's going to be how much? 3.6 squared and 12.8 squared. So this is going to be V. So if we happen to calculate this, you are going to get an answer of 13.3 meter per second. See, when we have two vectors, okay, let's say this is vector A and this is vector B. So obviously when we are adding, when we have to take out their resultant, the resultant we know here is
a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, where theta is the angle between them. Now obviously the angle between these two vectors is 90 degree. So in this case, this will be a square plus b square. That's what we are precisely doing. Vx square plus vy square. That's 13.3 meter per second. Okay, so this gives you, so now this velocity, the resultant velocity, this velocity will make an angle, let's say theta. Velocity, this is your resultant velocity, that is 13.3 meter per second. Let's say this makes an angle, V makes an angle theta, which is given by, so if we have, see in this case, what will be tan theta? Tan theta will be Vy by Vx, of course, right? So we can write tan theta is equal to Vy by Vx. Okay, Vy we have calculated, it's 3.6 meter per second, and Vx we have calculated 12.8 meter per second. That's basically 9 by 32. So this is 9 by 32. So we can say the coordinate, see here it has been asked as to find the velocity and position. So when velocity has already been found, now you have to basically find out the position. So when you have to find out the position, okay, so the position has to be defined in terms of coordinates. Okay, so if we were to find the position in terms of the coordinates, the coordinates at t is equal to 4 seconds is, the coordinate at t is equal to 4 seconds is x is equal to uxt plus half axt squared. So that's going to be the x coordinate first of all. Okay, so x, ux we know, it is how much? 8 meter per second, right? That's the starting velocity along the x-axis, 8 meter per second, and then we multiplied by the time taken, that is 4 seconds. Okay, plus half ax. The value of ax we have calculated as, where is it gone? Okay, the value of ay, okay, ax is 1.2 meter per second square and ay is 0.9 meter per second square. So here we have ax as 1.2 meter per second square, and this is 4 second squared. Okay, so this is going to be 32 meter plus 9.6, 32 meter plus 9.6 meters. That's going to be 41.6 meters. In the same way, we have to calculate the y-axis coordinates. So y coordinate will be uyt plus half ayt square. Uy we know it's 0, so this will be 0 into 4.0 seconds plus half a, that is ay is 0.9, and again this will be 0.4, sorry, 4.0 second. I am so sorry here. So this will be, let's get this taken care of. So this will be 4.0 second square. So that's going to be half into 0.9 into 16. This is meter per second square. Gets cancelled. This is meter, and we are going to get an answer here of 7.2 meters. Okay, so we can say that the position of the particle, the position of the particle is 41.6 meters and 7.2 meters at 4 seconds, right? So this will be the position of the particle. Okay, so we will now continue with projectile motion, and there we will complete all the activities of projectile motion, the derivation, and we will do a couple of problems out there as well. So this kind of gives us a rough idea about the kinematics. We will do some more problems on kinematics